The Reconstruction era began with the Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Abraham Lincoln. Issued on January 1, 1863, the proclamation transformed the character of the Civil War by making the destruction of slavery an object of the Union war effort. It also authorized the enlistment of African Americans in the Union armed forces. By placing slavery on the road to complete abolition, it made a post-war reconstruction of Southern society inevitable. In March 1865, the Freedmen's Bureau, which provided assistance to emancipated African Americans, was established. April 8, 1865, Robert E. Lee surrenders to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. Joseph E. Johnston's surrender in North Carolina on April 18 effectively ends the war between the states. On April 15, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln is assassinated by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater. His vice president, Andrew Johnson, became president. On the 6th of December, Congress offers a glimmer of hope for Afro-Americans living in the South by ratifying the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States. Unfortunately, 1865 comes to a close with Southern states enacting laws restricting rights of African Americans known as the Black Codes. The year 1866 offered a mixed bag of good and bad. It started on April 9th with the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which conferred citizenship on African Americans and guaranteed them equal rights. However, in the summer months of May and July, there were race riots both in Memphis and New Orleans, killing 86 African Americans. Also, the Ku Klux Klan, a secret organization to intimidate African Americans and restore white rule, was founded in Pulaski, Tennessee. The year 1867 is best known for its Reconstruction Acts, where Congress divided the former Confederacy into 5 military districts and required elections in which African American men could vote. History focuses more on what happened in Washington in the year of 1868. In the months March, April, and May, the U.S. Senate held President Johnson's impeachment trial. By one vote, it failed to remove the president from office. The 14th Amendment was also ratified on July 21, 1868. It guaranteed due process and equal protection under the law to African Americans. Finally, on November 3rd, Ulysses S. Grant, the former Union general, became the 18th President of the United States. In 1869, the first Redeemer government took place. Tennessee was the first state to replace a biracial Republican state government with an all-white Democratic government. The states Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia would follow suit in 1870. In 1870, even though it didn't seem as if state governments were promoting civil rights, African Americans were making headway on the federal level. On February 23rd of 1870, Hiram Revels of Mississippi was elected to the U.S. Senate as the first black senator. On March 30th, the 15th Amendment was also ratified. It extended the vote to all male citizens regardless of race or previous condition of servitude. In the year 1872, the southern state of Louisiana received its first African American governor. P.B.S. Pinchback was a black politician and the first black to serve as a state governor, although due to white resistance his tenure was extremely short from December 9, 1872 to January 13, 1873. The Freedmen's Bureau was also abolished in this year. For the first time since before the Civil War, Democrats controlled both houses of Congress in the 43rd Congress in 1874. Robert Smalls, a black hero of the Civil War, was elected to U.S. Congress as a representative of South Carolina, as well as Blanche K. Bruce was elected to the U.S. Senate. On March 1st, the Civil Rights Act of 1875 was enacted by Congress, guaranteeing equal rights to African Americans in public accommodations and jury service. This would later be ruled unconstitutional in the year 1883. In 1876, there was a disputed presidential election between Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel J. Tilden. To settle the contested presidential election, Congress appointed a 15-member electoral commission that decided Hayes had carried South Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana, thereby defeating his opponent, Tilden, by a single electoral vote. In 1876, Wade Hampton became the Democratic candidate for governor. He pledged to expand the state's educational system and protect blacks against violence, but his supporters launched a campaign of intimidation that neutralized South Carolina's large Republican majority. Both parties claimed victory, and Hampton became governor as part of the bargain of 1877. Rutherford B. Hayes was inaugurated president in 1877, and he withdrew federal troops from the South protecting the civil rights of African Americans later that year, effectively ending Reconstruction.